What's happening, everybody? We are live. And this is school's in session before noon, right? Before noon. Good morning, Alan. Good morning. What's going on? Put something in here for a second. We are getting ready to, we'll let people flow in here for a second. And we'll let people slide in here. We'll get started. We're going to talk about why some owner-operators are successful in this business and why others fail or go backwards in the business. We will cover that. Hopefully we don't make anybody mad. Right? Hopefully we won't make anybody mad. Now I'm gonna put this title up here, right? We're gonna put this title up here. Now, before we start this driver training, I get people call me, right? They call me the Godfather, right? Not of trucking. That was from all the Schneider guys gave me that nickname, right? Well, the professor is given to me by a YouTuber. Goes by TRB. Anybody know TRB? The Wright brother? Anybody know TRB? Eddie? He calls me the professor, right? Not a trucker's coach. I'm a trucker's professor. Because you come here to learn how to run a business, right? We can teach you how to run a business. We can teach you how to be successful. But, we can't make you become successful. Alan's laughing. Here, let's show Alan. We are the professor, right? We'll call it the trucker's professor, right? And they're going to have fun with this. Oh, YouTube's going to have fun with this. But we don't care because everybody knows. Everybody knows. If TRB gives me this name, it must be true, right? If the Wright brother gives me this name, calls me the professor, then, we could call him up on the phone, get him on here, and he'll tell you. But does anyone want to learn how to be successful in trucking? This is driver training, as you can see up there in the emblem. Driver training, right? Where's the money? Shadow Wolf has the money. Get a hold of him. That's Shadow Wolf hanging out in the RV.com at Gmail. Just kidding, Shadow Wolf. Anyway, you come to this channel to learn about the business. And had a discussion with some folks about cost per mile, cost per day, and of course they didn't understand it, right? They didn't understand it, and they, and so forth. But we're going to explain it. And we're going to tell you why you got to do this. Other Trucker James Best, I talked to him, he went over, he says the same thing, right? You have to include certain things, you just have to. Yes, it's a business, and you want to know your bottom line of the business, but if you don't include home expenses, and we'll get to that, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. All right? It's just the, you can ask Shadow Wolf. Shadow Wolf's been out here for a long time. Right, Shadow Wolf? All right, we'll throw him up here. Boom! He's got the bombs going with the top hat, everything going on. Now, Shadow Wolf will tell you this is no lie, this is nothing. Right? He'll say, trucking, one, is not for everybody. Two, it's a tough business. Trucking is a tough business. Right? It's tough. And the only way to be successful is know certain things. And surround yourself. What's up, Rich Rappa, the Italian Stallion? Right, Rich? Rich will tell you. We got a cat fight going on back here, Snow Lord. Do you hear them? They're hissing like crazy. Right? Oh yeah, they got to learn how to drive. See, Shadow Wolf says this. These new ones got to learn how to drive. Yes, I showed a video of that. They didn't know how to drive. They're trying to race around the parking lot. They couldn't back up. They're hitting people. Everything. Here's another successful business owner, right here. Empty fuel court, right? Hey now, from Russ Maynard. I can't drive 55. Yeah, all right. Michael Gardner's in the house. We'll show Michael up there. We'll throw him into the broadcast. What's up, Michael? Nice you to join us. Craig Miller, in case I didn't get you, we'll throw you in there. There's Dave. Anybody on Facebook? Dave's wife posted a picture of Dave in the car she bought him for their anniversary. It was epic. Epic. Pretty funny. What's up, Jamie? Dave? What's going on? Quick? Cruising the road? Mario? Trucker Seals? Alan? Anthony T? We'll get going now. Scott RSO. We'll put Scott up there. Ralph. And, we got to get rolling. So no more broadcasts up there. Midwest Runner. All right. William. Well, we'll put him up there because he said, howdy, professor. All right. So here we go. We will take the driver training screen off, and we're going to show you some few things. To be successful, right? To be successful in trucking, in the open operator business, one, you have to know your numbers. Why is that important to know your numbers? Well, some people say you got to know cost per mile. I say it's easier to do cost per day, and we'll go over that on the next screen. But you have to know your numbers. You have to have a trucking program or some way that you're going to keep track of what your numbers are. Okay? And your numbers are going to include all of your trucking business, and we'll go over that. You got to include all your trucking business and all of your home expenses and mad money you're going to spend and groceries, everything. Everything at home. Just like if you were a factory worker or a restaurant worker and you get your paycheck, right? You get, if you work 40 hours, you get a certain amount of money. So you know how much you have to, all your bills are at home to spend, you know how much you can afford to waste and so forth, right? Same thing with trucking and owner-operator. You have to include that because if you don't, things will happen. And we'll go over that. But you got to know all this because you are the driver, plus you're the business. It all is together. It's all together. And if you don't include them together and just say, oh, well, no, trucking business is separate, so your cost per hour is separate. You can't include home. Well, if you don't include home, you're going to fail. Because if you're just making enough to pay all the truck stuff, you don't pay the home stuff, not going to work, folks. It's not going to work. Not going to work. So, you have to save for a rainy day. And that goes along with number 3, sacrifice. What do we mean by save for a rainy day? That is all your extra money, some of the extra money that you get, put it in a bank account, in a savings account, whatever you have to do. Put it in there. I, along with Russ, I can't drive 55. We use Thunder Funding. We have a reserve account. That's the rainy day account, right? That's another good reason for a reserve account. No matter what all these other jokers are saying. That's right, Russ Maynard. If you're still here, I can't drive 55. You'll agree. Empty fuel corp, right? If you use Thunder Funding, you have a reserve account. That's a rainy day account. You can have access to them anytime you want, but I don't even realize it's there, right? I'll go there once in a while and look, see how much is in there, but I don't count on it, So that's a good thing for that, because if it's in a bank account that you just go right down the street, more likely you're going to spend it, right? More likely. That's the American way. Sacrifice. Right there. This is the number one thing right here. Sacrifice. That puts owner-operators out of business because they don't sacrifice. They do not sacrifice. What does that mean? Well, that means, hey, you know, me and the buddies, we're going to the ball game tomorrow. Me and the buddies, we're going fishing tomorrow. You want to go? Sure. So you don't take that load, right? You sacrifice personal fun for the business. Next thing you know, you take 1 day off, 2 days off, 3 days off, 4 days off, 5 days off, and guess what? You're taking money out of here to pay for some other stuff. Eventually, that's what happens, and then you go out of business, because we'll go over that. And then you want to network with others to be successful. You want to surround yourself with other owner-operators that are successful, that are doing the business and are successful. You don't want to surround yourself with individuals that aren't successful, right? And you can gain success by however you want to, put it. So if you want to get to a certain level in trucking, then you don't surround yourself with people that aren't there and doing it, right? So, and we'll get over these questions. We'll do questions and answers after this, and we'll even do call-ins if you want. It doesn't matter to me. So this is going to be a shorter video. So look at that. Look at all this stuff. See, I pre-wrote it. So that way it's better this way. This is an example why some folks, this is going to hurt them. Right there. Cost per mile. If you don't know what this is, it's cost per day. Cost per mile versus cost per day. We're going to explain it because there's some people out there that don't understand this concept. Right? They don't understand it. So, we are going to, in this example, we're going to say that this owner-operator has $8,000 per month, all expenses. Truck and home. That means their maintenance account that they're putting 100, 200, 300 a week in, whatever it is. That means all of their, everything but fuel is not in that number. Everything but fuel, because fuel is a variable, and we're going to go over this. That's truck insurance, trailer if they have one, trailer insurance, ELD, everything to do with the truck, plus a maintenance money that they take out, plus food money on the road and all that stuff, plus all the home expenses. How many cars they got, credit cards, if they're buying diapers, everything's in there, right? It's all in the home. So this owner-operator has $8,000 a month that he has to bring home to the house to be successful. That'll pay all the truck stuff, all the home stuff. If he makes anything less than that, he's going under. He's not going to be successful, right? So the folks that say, oh, cost per mile. Okay, well, let's look at this. Cost per mile, it's unpredictable miles. You don't know how many miles you're going to get, right? You just don't know. That's why it's unpredictable. Yes, you run programs and stuff, and they'll tell you what your cost per mile is, and you'll see it change after every single run. Most guys ain't going to be able to do that. They're not going to watch it that closer and say, oh, my cost per mile is this. Well, we'll show you how you get in trouble with that. Cost per day, you have more control because it's the days you're going to work, right? So if you say you're going to work Monday through Friday, 20 days, you can make that up. Right? Because you're only doing 20 days. Or you can do it on a 15-day average or an 18-day average. That leaves you a whole lot of room to make up if something happens during those days. Cost per mile, you can't make up at all. Can't make up at all. Because when you get to that end, there's no days left to make up. For example, if you're running cost per day and you say 20 days and you work Monday through Friday, and then one of those weeks you didn't work Thursday or Friday. You had 2 days off. You didn't work them. Well, at the end of that month, that 20 days, you still have that weekend. You still have those two. You can make those days up. See, folks, you can make them up. So if you work 2 solid weeks, if you work 1 week, the second week you didn't work at all, then guess what? That's 5 days. You can make those up. Just work a few weekends before the end of the month. You can make those days up. Right? So, it's more predictable. So in this example, let's say this guy's basing everything on 10,000 miles. In the fuel, he's at 7 miles per gallon, and he's paying $3 a gallon for it, for these numbers. Okay? That means at 10,000 miles divided by 7 miles per gallon, he's going to spend $1,420.57 for fuel. You take that number, you times it by 3, right? $3 a gallon. Well, you divide this by 7. That's how much you need gallons. 1,428.57 gallons of fuel. Let me write that in here so people know what it is. Right? So you take your miles divided by 7. That's how many gallons he has to buy. 1,428. He times $3. He spends $4,285.70 for fuel. Right? And we can zoom in on that if you want. Let's see here. Let me see if all right. All right, let's zoom in. I think I can move this way. I can move it the other way. Well, just bear with me. Let's move it this way, right? You take your 8,000 divided by 10, you get 80 cents a mile is what the truck costs with the home expenses. And you take your fuel cost, which is doing $1.23 a mile, right? He's booking loads. Some he gets more, some he gets less, but he says, I got to have $1.23. And let's say he runs the whole month at $1.23. What happens if he only does 8,000 miles? Because he didn't get the miles. But see, he knows his cost per mile. He knows that cost per mile, folks. And he says, man, I'm making money. I'm hauling for $1.23. And I did $1.23 all month. All month. Right? All month. Yeah, you got to include deadhead. All month, man. I did $1.23. I booked $1.23. You know, that was including my deadhead and everything. I did it. But here's where he makes a mistake. Let's say he only got 8,000 miles that month, actual. Well, if you take 8,000 divided by 8, that's $1 a mile for the truck. Fuel is still 43 cents. That's $1.43 he needs. So guess what happens, folks? He's 20 cents a mile less than what he should have been making. Yeah. So if he based this stuff on 10,000 miles, he did 20 cents a mile less, he's in the hole $2,000. 20 cents times 2,000 miles, $2,000. So he's negative 2,000. So what happens? What happens, folks? What is he not going to pay? He's not going to pay the truck payment. If he has one, he's not going to pay it. Or he's going to pay it a month late. Because if he has a family at home, he's not missing the house payment. He's not missing his rent payment. He's in an apartment, mobile, whatever they live in. They're not going to miss that payment because they got a house, the wife and the kids or whatever. They're not missing the payment. They're going to miss the truck payment or put it off. They're starting a road they can't go down. See, you got these thumbs down because these people just don't understand. They don't understand, right? Try to help them understand. So that's what they miss. They're not gonna pay that truck payment, folks. I see it happen all the time. Now, cost per day. Why is it more predictable? Well, just like I said, at the end of the month, he goes all month. He's missed his mark by 2,000 miles. He can't make those up. The month's, it's done. Well, here, just like I said, if he does 20 days, but he only worked 18 days, right? You'll see the numbers. If he does 20 days, he needs $400 a day after fuel. So he knows if he picks a load, subtracts his fuel cost out of the load, and as long as he's averaging $400 a day, he's going to make this number. So let's say, right, he's worked 18 days because he takes weekends off. Guess what? He's still got a weekend there because Friday he can go, oh, I only worked 18 days. I got to work those other 2 days. I got to work the weekend. Right? Got to work the weekend so this doesn't happen. This guy can control it. This guy can't. Can't control it. So that's why this is a lot easier, because you know how much you have to make per day. This you don't know, because you see if you fall a little short, so forth. This is easier to keep track of, because if you're tracking this, it's much easier. This calculation, you can keep track of it, but you're going to have to know how many empty miles, foot loading, actual miles on your truck, figure it out every single day. That's what you're getting, to see if you're even hitting these numbers, right? So that's why it's like this. And why do you include your home? Why do you include your home in it? Because if you do not include your home, you get a different number. And if you run it by that number, then how do you pay all your bills at home? That's why you have to include your home, right? It's part of the business. If you are using that truck to pay your home bills and everything, your home is part of that business. All your expenses are part of that business. All your personal expenses. Because that's what you're using to pay yourself with. Right? Now, if it's a trucking company and you don't take no money from it, then no, you can just do costs per day, right? You could just do costs per mile, whatever you want to do, and just include just the truck, because it's its own business entirely. You don't need no money from it. Then yes, you could do that. But every owner-operator I know that's running a one-man truck, every one of them I know that runs a one-man truck, needs to pay something at home, right? So they got to include that, because they need a paycheck. Right? That's why they're driving it, to get a paycheck, make money. Right? There you go. Jeremy says 20 cents per mile times 2,000 miles is $400. Well, yeah, that is $400. But it's not 2,000 miles, see? It's 10,000 miles, Jeremy. He's supposed to do 10,000 miles to equal this money. And we're saying if he did 8, he's at $1.43 he needs per mile to make this, because he only did 8,000 miles. So he's 20-cent difference. So he's $2,000 in the hole. So oh, yeah, Jeremy's right. It's yeah, there's 2,000 mile difference, but he because you can do the math, right? I was just doing it on the thing, but if you do the math at $1.43 times if you did 8,000 miles times $1.23, right? Because he's thinking he only needs $1.23, that's $98.40. Oh. And if you do 8,000 miles times see 10,000 miles times the $1.23, right? He's at 10,000 miles. He times $1.23, he's at 12,300. So that's what you do, is right? 10,000 miles, because the fuel's in here. See, fuel's built into this equation. So 10,000 miles at $1.23, it's more than $400, Jeremy. That's what I'm saying. It's closer to 2,000, right? Because it's 10,000 miles, $1.23 is 12,300. And then if he only did 8,000, but he was averaging $1.23 a mile, because that's what he was thinking he needs, right? So you take 8,000 times $1.23, right? It's $98.40. You You subtract them, it's $2,460 difference. If you subtract those, it's $2,460. That's what he fell short. So he's going to be short, right? He's short anyway. He's short. Because you could say, okay, you can find exactly what he's short if you want to do the math, right? We know he's short. So, for instance, if he only did 8,000 miles, you divide that by 7 miles to the gallon times 3, that's 34.28. If you want to know what he's actually short, right? If he did 8,000 miles, but he said he's running on this number here, because that's the number he thinks he needs to make with 10,000 miles, but he didn't make the 10,000. Okay, so the fuel there is 34.28 fuel, right? And then if you times 8,000 times $1.23, you'll know exactly how much you're short. It's 98.40. 98.40. Right, that's what he made. That's his money. You subtract those. Come up with $6,412. Subtract it from the 8,000. Right? So he's about $1,588 short. That's what he's actually short. He's short $1,588 for that month. How many months can he do that if that's what happens to him before he's out of business? Right? This is what he's short, if you do the math. In that example. All right. Let's see here. If you take an average of, here's what Midwest Runner is saying. If you take an average of 6 miles per gallon, you just don't divide total miles per load, divide it by 2, and get a pretty good idea of cost per. Well, yeah, you could do that too, right? So what he's saying is, you know, if you take an average of 6 miles per gallon, you just divide total miles per load, divide it by 2, and get a pretty good idea for fuel cost. So, any questions? So we showed, you know, if you miss that by 20 cents and you take the fuel out and everything, you know, that owner operator is going to miss his goal by $1,500. And I don't know about anybody else, but if you miss $1,500 that month, you know, what's most owner operators, what are they not going to pay? Right, if they have a house payment, they're going to pay the house, right? They're going to pay the electricity. They're going to either miss the payment on their, if they have a car payment, they're going to miss the car payment, or going to miss the truck payment and say, well, I'll pay, you know, 2 weeks late. But see, they're already starting the process of being behind the 8 ball, right? They're already starting that process. The best thing is not to get yourself in that system, so run cost per day. That way you know exactly how much you have to make that day. And if you're going along and you make more, you know that, okay, if I don't work these last 2 days, I don't have to worry about it because I made more before that. And if you didn't, then you know, hey, I got to work a couple extra. Right? So if anybody wants to call up and discuss it or go over it, or you know, we can call in and do that. So that the 2,000, that was pretty close, right? Rough estimate. He's off really by 1,500, but you know, $2,000's pretty close. Doesn't matter if you're off $1 or $1,000, you're still off, so something's not going to get paid. That's the bottom line, right? All right, so if anybody does want to call in and talk about it, there's a number, So what's going on? Let's see what's Polo's saying. Hey, what do you think of Fogline software stands up to the other trucking software? Well, Pablo, it's Fogline software. Ray White, he does a really good program, right? He's got a good program. If you're a single owner operator and you want to know all your numbers and put all your stuff in there, it's a good program. It is a Windows-based program, so you got to put it on a computer, right? You got to put it on a computer and put all your stuff in it. It'll keep track of everything. Snowlord's on here. He uses it, right? It's a good program. If you want a online program, right, where everything's stored online that you can access from phones, tablets, any device as long as you have internet connectivity, then I use Trucking Office, right? I've used Fogline software, and I still have it on my Windows computer, and put numbers in it, and I use Trucking software because when I'm running down the road and stuff, I can just put the stuff in by the phone. I don't have to have a computer with me, which makes it nice. So that's the differences between softwares, right? You can buy a program that's dedicated to your computer. It's on your hard drive. Some people like that. They like all their data on the hard drive instead of in the cloud. And then some people like the mobility, right? The mobility. I go for the mobility because I'm running a fleet and I need access anywhere I'm at, right? So I'm not going to go walking through walking through somewhere, go somewhere and be lugging a laptop on my shoulder and then have to stop, get it out, right? Type on it, put stuff in. That it'd be too cumbersome, right? So I use the other one. Does that help you out? Does that answer your question? So it just depends on what you like, right? There's something for everybody out there. Just depends on what you like. Yeah, I was talking to Ray the other day. He's got some nice live videos out. Alan Campbell is the one from Trucking Office. He's got some nice videos out. So, check them out. Do your homework, right? Do your homework. See if I go in here and let me get my phone out here. I go in here on my phone and I just signed in. See, there's Trucking Office right there on my phone. Uh-oh, we got phone calls coming in. I don't think he's going to want to be on YouTube, right? I don't think he's going to be on YouTube. So, we're done with the owner-operator success. How to be a success, then a failure, an owner-operator. You have to do certain things. You have to keep track of certain things. And if you don't, then you're going to be in trouble. Because I know a lot of owner-operators out there that have been getting by, right? You'll ask them, hey, what's your cost per day? They don't know. What's your cost per mile? They don't know that either. All they know is, hey, I'm getting a paycheck and I'm making money. And then when things happen, right? When things happen, they thought they were making money, but they're really not making money. And there's a lot of drivers out there that now do not have trucks anymore. They're back to company driving, and they will contest that, hey, I thought I was making money because I was getting a paycheck, right? So, there you go. What's up, Nailed It? What's up, Jeremy? What's going on? You're too busy making money? Yeah, Jeremy, what happened to your channel, man? Call in. Tell us what happened to your channel. What's up, RD Trucking? RD's not afraid to call in either. He calls in. Okay, the Pablo says, okay, here's what he says. Okay, I found you after getting Fogline, but it would be more mobile. But how much does the Trucking Pro software cost? It's a monthly subscription, right? And so if you have one truck and you want to do all your miles and your IFTA and all that, it's around $35 a month. And if you use this code right here, you get 10% off for life. So if you go to truckingoffice.com, you don't have to put in a credit card or nothing. Polo, you don't have to put none of that in. You just put an email address in a password, and you'll get to try it for free. Right? It's a free trial. You get access right away on your phone or tablet or whatever computer. And when the trial's up, you can either subscribe or don't subscribe. They'll try to give you a different discount, right? They'll offer you like a month free or whatever. But if you do this discount code and then you get 10% off for life, you'll save a whole lot more money, right? Because it's for life. So if you use it and you continue to use it, and it's going to be something you use for your trucking career, right? For your whole business career in trucking, you'll save a whole lot of money with 10% off. Because if you do fleet building, as you grow your fleets, of course, when you add so many trucks, there's different levels, right? And then there you go. And as like anyone says that has trucking software, it'll more than pay for itself because you'll actually see, what you're doing and what's happening. And the good thing about it, it shows you your net profit per mile, right? So you know where you can try to save in certain areas. And then that way, if you save in certain areas, your profit per mile goes up. I was watching one of Alan's videos that he was doing, and he says, everybody thinks about cost per mile. But does that really matter? Does cost per mile really matter? Profit per mile is more important, right? Because you could have $1.50 cost per mile, or you could have $1.80 cost per mile, you could have $1.20 cost per mile, and one guy have 40 cents per mile profit, and one guy have 5 cents per mile profit. Profit, right? Your profit per mile means more than the other part, right? Because the more profit per mile you have, the more money you got. So that's that right there. We'll take that off. And if you want to see what I'm talking about, let me slide this over to the other screen. Let me bring up Trucking Office, and I'll bring up the test account because, we're not going to show our numbers. So here's the screen, right? And we'll take this off, and here is the plan. If you do company overview, and you can do profit and loss, but if you do company overview and you generate a report, right? Let's say this is somebody's thing, and these don't have no numbers in it right here, right? Because it's just, I played around with this program here for a couple months there on this test account, and then I just put some in here. But if this was the company, then you could see that you have the miles that they ran, right? And it's got a total down here. So the total for this gentleman or lady, let's say so far they had $12,000, the revenue paid, expenses, profit, 8 loads that they've done, right? This is what it would be. Revenue per mile, 281. Revenue per loaded mile, 305, because this has deadhead miles, all miles in it, right? So that's why there's that difference. So loaded miles getting that, but with the deadhead and everything and all miles, he's getting 281. And then his expenses per mile is 229. Expenses per loaded mile is 249. And then profit per mile, 52 cents. Profit per loaded mile, 56 cents. So it shows you everything, right? Shows you everything in these reports. There's a lot more reports too, right? You could go to profit and loss, click on it, and you could do 1 month. You could do all the months, right? So we'll just say everything up until now. If you generate the report, you are going to see some nice little graphs, right? This graph here shows you how much revenue. This here shows you how much expenses. He has a factoring fee, a card fee, drivers, profit and loss. That'd be a profit and loss statement for this whole month, right? You can go back to the dashboard and you can see IRP state miles. So if you click on that, and if you ran it for the 2 trucks, because I put 2 trucks in here for a demo, and hit generate report, you are going to see your IRP state miles. Going to get all these miles right here, and it's going to show you the states that you ran in with all the miles, right? And if you want to do IFTA, we'll back out here. You can go down here and do quarterly IFTA. If you click on it, and let's see if there's something in this. All trucks, generate a report, right? And you can say generate IFTA tax report, and then here's your IFTA tax report. Taxable miles, so forth, and this would be your report. There's no fuel in these, so what we'd have to do is go in here, click on this, and say July through September, and so forth, right? You can see all that. And then you got unit revenue, right? So if you just want to see what a unit is doing, you could hit generate report, and it'll show you the revenue for each unit. If you want to see unit operating income, you could do that, hit generate report, and it'll show you the revenue, expense, maintenance, all that. So you can see their operating income for each unit. If you're running a fleet, you'll see which one's doing what. Miles per gallon, put this in, and you'll see this. I didn't put no fuel in, but if I would put fuel in for these trucks, this would show up with some numbers. So I've never done that yet because we haven't demonstrated that part of the software yet. And then you can do unit miles. And in September, this is only 1 unit I put in here when I did the one demo a few days ago, has the miles. Now if you want to go back here and say unit miles, and it'll catch some of those miles up from the beginning of January and February for one of the trucks. There it is. And then you can do miles per gallon, fuel vendors, customer report, so forth. So, you can go in customer report, and we'll say, if I put customers in here for this person, it'll show you brokers, $1,200, other, $1,700 total. So if you go top 25 customers, it'll show you their top 25. If you had 25 brokers or 50, it'll show you your top 25 you're pulling for. You can hit view details, right, because there's only 1 broker I put in, so you'll see that. So as we demo this program over and over, those numbers and that thing will grow. So if I brought up if I brought up Light Trucking Corporation and showed you that, you would see that. You can see driver settlements, right? So you can see their settlements here if you want. That's a quick one there. So forth, expenses. You could run your expenses. And if you do that, it's going to look like this. And you can put all your categories in here, so it's easy. It breaks it down month by month by month, and so it's easy to do your taxes, right? You do your own taxes, or if you have somebody else do them, you can just send them that sheet, right? So you got profit, loss, and tax. If you hit tax and you say, if it was the end of the year, you include the whole year and hit the report, it's going to show you your period right there. Your expenses, your dispatches, your drivers, your units. It's going to have everything in there. Everything. Right? So that's that. Now, let's go to where are we at over here? ECam Live. All right. Call that number, and you can put it out there live on YouTube. What else we got going on? All right, there we go. If you want to call in at 810-207-5334. Maybe Freight Broker Live will call in if he's a freight broker. Lou, what's up? He says, thanks for not being part of the YouTube drama. The true sign of maturity. I don't get into that, Lou. You know, if you want to call in, call in. You know, we'll put you on there, Lou. Talk to the folks. I don't do that many call-in shows, right? 3 years ago, I done call-ins quite a bit when I was in the truck, and we did a bunch of stuff. But this is educational, right? That's what it is. We provide owner-operator numbers, right, and what we do.
The call will start at the beep.
Hey, who do we got there?
Hey, Jeff, this is Jeremy Bruger. How's it going?
What's going on, Jeremy?
Hey, I want to pick your brain on a subject. I'm looking at adding a couple trucks in the spring when my business starts picking up again.
Okay.
And I had a debate with a guy yesterday. I wanted to get your take on it. Your thoughts hiring a company driver versus leasing on other owner-operators.
Okay, so you're thinking
I've
about...
heard it go both ways.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you the only way, right? I mean, as a business perspective. So you want to start like a fleet, right? Have like a truck or 2 trucks, or right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the deal, Jeremy, and we'll put it on here. Here, let's wipe this off, and I'll show you the difference, right? So
Okay.
you would have to buy a truck, right?
Right.
Correct. So if you do about fleet building, now the one guy has a company. You're going to do a company driver versus a contractor, right?
Yep.
All right, so what do you got to do here? One, you have to buy a truck. You got to buy a trailer, right? You have to buy those things for that guy to run for you, right? Contractor, you might have to get him a trailer, maybe, right? You might have to buy him a trailer. So if you buy him a trailer, he's using it. Usually, most companies take 7% if you provide the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Now, with a company driver, you got to pay him how much per mile?
Well, I guess you should back up. It's a little bit different in my situation. I run intermodal.
Okay.
I do eventually planning on bringing guys on to run OTR just because I have some local connections to get some really good freight out of my area. But as far as springtime goes, it'll just be for intermodal.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's either I can go get another truck and put a driver in the truck I'm currently in and pay him W-2,
right.
or I can lease guys on. I'm leaning towards the leasing guys on because I think they're going to be more apt to want to get out and get the money because they've got bills to pay.
Well, here's the thing. If you lease the guys, okay, here's the difference. If you do a company driver, right, you got unemployment insurance agency. You got to pay the UIA on him, right? You got to provide
Yeah.
workers' comp, right? And then you're going to have to pay part of the Social Security, Medicare, right? Not only
Right.
that, you got to pay for the truck payment, truck fuel, truck breakdown, right? So you have
Oh, yeah.
you have all these expenses, okay, that you're going to have to pay. And the truck breakdown and the truck fuel, especially truck breakdown, you don't know what that's going to be. You have no clue what that's going to be, right?
Right.
If you hire a contractor, and let's say you pay him 80%, right? And he has his own truck and he's using intermodal trailers, whatever, you're not providing a trailer, let's say you're paying him 80%. You know you're getting 20% of everything he hauls. And guess what? You have no risk of the truck breaking down, the company driver ruining that truck, providing the insurance for that truck. You see all the different levels of failure you can have with a company driver?
Yeah, see, that's the way I was looking at it. I talked to a guy yesterday, a local guy, who has 3 company drivers, and his whole thing was, well, I have more control over my drivers. I can tell them when to start, how many to do, where to go, so I can build more customers that way. But I was talking to him because his driver called in sick, and I covered a load for him.
All right, now wait a minute.
Well,
now
really
this,
working out for you.
now this, see, he's got it kind of wrong, because if you can have control over the contractors, right? Because look at fleets that dispatch the contractors, that don't let them pick their own loads.
Right.
Right? So intermodal, you say, okay, you're going to go here and pick these trailers up this day, these 3 loads or these 4 loads, right? You can have control over them. But see, right there, you have huge risk. Because if that guy, he says he has 3 drivers in 3 of his trucks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what happens? Now get this, folks. Let's say you have 3 trucks with 3 drivers, right? And we're just going to use some numbers. Let's say he's got used trucks, and each truck is $1,500 a month, right? So here's these 3 trucks. That's his payment. What happens if 2 of these guys decided they want to quit and they just quit? Now he's got
That's
3.
my biggest fear.
He's got 3 trucks and 1 driver. And how long does it take to replace that driver? So now he's got a minus $3,000 every single month he's got to shell out there, not including, the insurance and everything, but a $3,000 a month bill with only 1 driver running. So how long can he last before he's out of business if half of his guys quit?
Yeah, see, that's my biggest fear. You got that, and then, just company drivers don't take as good a care of the equipment. I mean, he has 1 truck he just had to rebuild the motor in.
Bingo.
So that's money he had to shell out for that, plus, covering the insurance and everything else while that truck is down in the shop. Where
Well,
I got a guy leased on to me, it's more of a, hey, call me when you get it fixed,
Well, let me ask you a question, Jeremy, since this guy on the phone. If a company driver gets mad, right? He gets mad. What's the first thing he takes it out on?
Oh, yeah, your truck.
The truck, okay? Because it's not his truck, he's not paying for it. But an owner operator gets mad, he don't get in his truck and slam the gears all around everything because he knows he's paying for that truck, right? It's got to make him his money. Because the company driver breaks the truck, he just thinks they're going to give him another truck to drive while it's being repaired, right? That's the thought process. When their thought process should be is, hey, this truck makes me my money, I'm going to take care of it. Because without it, I don't make any money. Right? But that's the biggest thing with company drivers. If you build a fleet with them, your huge risk is, 1, it's the equipment, but 2, when they quit, do you have a pool to hire from and get a driver, a butt in that seat right away? And if you can't get nobody, How long does it take before you're really hurting?
Well, that's kind of the other side of it for me, because I'm out driving 13, 14 hours a day myself. You know, like the time put into, finding another driver, just the money I'm going to lose running my own loads to have to sit at the house, to run MVRs and PSPs and make phone calls and go through applications.
Right.
And all of that.
So if you have 3 trucks that are contractors and 2 of those trucks leave, what are you out? What are you out?
Not a damn thing.
Nothing. Exactly. Because you know why? When these 2 trucks leave, you call the insurance company, you tell them those trucks leave, your liability and cargo goes down to 1 truck price, right? And then when you start building it back up and you had a second truck, you call the insurance company and it goes back up, right? So you're not out anything. Nothing. Right? You have a whole lot less risk with the contractor, because if his truck goes down in the shop, you're not fixing it, right? You're not out the money to fix the truck. That's his truck. He's a business.
Right. It's kind of, less of a benefit, because I think you would make more profit on a company driver, but you're also zero risk, in my eyes, anyway.
Well, how do you know you're going to make more money on a company driver? How do you know?
Oh yeah, if you put your truck in the shop a couple of times, he could end up costing you more.
Well, not only that, you got to figure. Okay, so let's make an example. You're running intermodal, right?
Right.
How much does a truck usually bring in a day, gross profit, running intermodal?
Gross profit?
Yeah, well, gross revenue.
Gross revenue, you're doing
At an average.
Well, it's about 800 a day.
So if the guy works 5 days, right, the truck brings in 4,000, right?
Right.
For that week. Okay. Now, how much is the truck? Truck insurance, truck payment, everything that involves
mine right
truck.
now
A month.
Is $1,400 a month for the truck note, and $1,281 a month for my cargo liability, bobtail, everything.
Okay, and let's say you put a driver in that truck. It's going to cost you another about $1,000. It's going to cost you about another $80 a month for having a driver added to the insurance. Right, it's about $900 to $1,000 for the driver, right? Roughly.
Right.
So if we do that, you have a $2,761 a month fee so far. And what's usually your fuel for a month?
Because we're hauling heavy, we do go through quite a bit of fuel. Probably about, I can look on my app, about $340 every other day. So call it $170 a day in fuel.
So about $5,000 a month.
Yeah, that'd probably be pretty close, I guess.
Okay, so let's say your monthly is $77.61. You divide that, so you got about $1,940 a week in expenses, fuel and everything, right? Because you got a company driver, right? So we'll just say $2,000.
Right.
We'll just say it's close to $2,000. Now, how much is the driver going to make on each load? Right, each day. How much is the driver going to make each day? Not each load, but each day.
Let me do
200 a day?
Oh, I did that wrong. Yeah, it would be right around 200 a day.
Okay, so he makes $1,000.
Going right around here is about $135 a load, and they do about a load and a half a day. So.
Right, so he makes $1,000, and then we're not even going to include the Social Security, Medicare, unemployment, and workers' comp in this calculation, okay? So that leaves you $1,000 profit for that week. Okay? Right?
Right.
Here's your contractor. You're paying him 80%. He does $4,000 that week, right?
Right.
You make $800 on him. This is pure profit. Now you come over to this company driver, and you're going to have to pay probably pretty close to $200 that week for the Social Security, Medicare, all the insurances that belong, the UIA and workers' comp and all that. So it's pretty close to the same, okay? But we don't include no breakdowns. There's no maintenance in here yet. None of that. Right?
Right.
Hardly no risk over here with the contractor. You're pumping out about the same money paying a guy, but then you have to do all these other things. You have to file the unemployment. You have to file the taxes, the payroll taxes. You got to file that. Now, if you do it yourself, right? That's time. But if you have to hire somebody to do it, then that's even less money than that 800.
Right.
Right? So as you see, if you add in all that stuff, this company guy, you might get down to about $500 profit compared to an $800 on a contractor. Because a contractor you can easily pay by yourself because, they got to pay their own taxes and everything. So all you're doing is saying, okay, that's what you did. Here's your settlement. Here's your $3,200, and you give them their money, right?
Right. Yeah, I think you definitely concreted my decision on that one.
Well, because here's an example, okay? You're doing the rail stuff, right? You're doing all that. Who pays for the tires on that thing if they go flat? They do?
No. In fact, I just got hit for $550 for one. It's up to them. They
Right.
send a guy out to fix it, and then they tell you a month later whether they're going to cover it or whether they're just going to take it out of your bank account.
Okay, so here's another example. Look at this. Even if we don't subtract anything else. Okay, you did $550 that week for that tire. You made $250 on that guy. You still made $800 on the contractor, even if there was a flat tire, because he's paying for it.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of been my thinking. I've had
Right.
a couple guys, that they kind of preach the other way. But
Well,
I guess I've never had the time to sit down and run the actual numbers on it.
right, and
Figure out where I'm going to land.
what if you had two tires that week? Then you're a few $100s in a hole. Where the contractor, you're still $800. You always have that profit right there.
Right.
Right? There's too much risk. See, this is too risky with a company driver and providing the trucks, because the trucks break, and then if the truck breaks and it's in the shop too long, and the company driver, you're going to pay him when the truck's down for, let's say it takes 2 weeks in the shop. Plus the repair.
Right.
And if you don't pay him, he's going to say, well, I'm leaving. And he leaves. Now you got a truck that you got to pay the repair on, plus you got to try to find somebody to drive it. And go through all the hiring process again.
Yeah, that was my thought. The company driver thing is just too much of a headache. Like I said, I mean, even just the time factor alone, I just don't have the time to babysit.
Right. All right, Jeremy.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
There
Thank
you go.
very much.
All right, man. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
All right. Hello. All right, we're back. We're out of here. Thanks for watching. And we will see you all